Hi. Trying to figure out this lighting. Okay, let's see how awful this looks. Ready? Oh, my hair is so awful today. I have dry shampoo in it, but my forehead has been receding since I was born. Do I have food in my teeth? No, I floss after lunch. Why would I have food in my teeth? Okay, so I still haven't quit my job. I still haven't looked for a new job. There's no reason other than lazy, but here's a few more reasons. No good reason other than I'm lazy, but here's a few good reasons. Should I turn the engine off? Will the light go off if I turn off the engine? I turn off the headlights. That's good. Okay, so, first of all, I wonder if people can tell just from looking at you when you're sad. Because when I look in the mirror, if I look in the mirror, all I see are like these dark circles and like everything. I just look so sad and like it's hard to smile. Except, I think I've mentioned before that I'm great at my job. It's just that office politics isn't great, and everyone has felt that. And like honestly, I've been like doing these video diaries for myself mostly, but like so many people are actually watching it and responding to it, and like it's so amazing and wonderful. Like I'm so appreciative of that. Like these are for me. Like I don't make any money off of this, obviously. Like when you have 100 subscribers, you get nothing. It used to be if you have any views, anything, you get money. Like I got like 20 cents a month or $1 a month until they canceled that and was like, you need 1,000 subscribers to meet the minimum threshold of making money, which is ridiculous. And like have this many watch minutes a month and this many views on reels. It's like there's like a checklist of 3 things of like, this is how you get paid minimum. It's ridiculous. Anyway, so like personal life still sucks. Job is a little bit better. So what? Like I think what is it? It's the 17th. So it's like the 3rd week of January now, right? So the first week of January, my supervisor, she had like a day where she was sick. And then this is like December 20 something, like right before New Year's. It was the last week before New Year's. When I was still, in a happy relationship. She was out, so I had to help conduct an interview because not the most senior, but like I'm the most eloquent, and who knows like the day-to-day, like I'm the smartest. So they had me do the interview, and there's this girl, she came in, she was really great, she was like eager to work, she seemed really smart, she's done like similar things in a similar vibe. Obviously every company does things differently, has a different system, has a different program, all of that, but she seemed to know like the basis of what we did, and she seemed to know like kind of how to do it, similar things, which is wonderful. And then they were like, the manager, he was like, oh, should we start her off on Monday? I was like, well, you know who is still sick, so better not Monday, maybe wait till like she's better and then she can come in. And Monday's like our busiest day of the week. And then so she came in first, 2nd week of January, and then the week right after that they hired another person, and now we have 2 young ladies who are both very bright. So far, to me, very bright, pick things up really quick. They have experience doing like similar things in their previous jobs, and they're like young and intelligent, in my opinion. And like, it's made me so happy. And like, I've been asked to train every new employee who comes in a sense where like they just shadow me, where they sit next to me like in the morning or in the afternoons while I'm like entering orders or shipping out labels, and I just talk through like the process of what I'm doing, like. And I tell all of them, like, hey, I write down every detail, I write down this, I write down this, I do that, I make a list of all of my orders, that way I don't, like, mess anything up, like, I don't forget any. I always reply to every single email with, like, the order number, so in the future, if I ever need to find something, I can just search that 4 to 6-digit number, and I'll be able to find it, like. And then I told them, like, I do the most. You can do anything less, you can do anything more, you can do the same, up to you, but this is just like the example of doing the most. And they were like, that makes a lot of sense, it's really organizational. And I'm seeing both of them, they're doing like something like similar things. One's making a physical list. She bought a little to-do pad and she's writing down every single order just like I do. Another one, she has it on digital in her computer, and I'm just like, oh, I'm so happy. And I've been texting my coworker about the one who got let go right around Thanksgiving time. I've been texting her about them, and she's like, wow, they actually have questions and have thoughts. That means they actually are thinking. And we both think that's wonderful, which is super, super great. There's like a person walking over there who's like looking at the statues. Anyway, so like I've been feeling more fulfilled at work because I've had like these two new employees who I can like talk to and like chat with, and they're super American. They're not Asian at all, and like they don't have that Asian culture where like, oh, it's fine if your male boss yells at you. It's fine if your female supervisor is kind of abusive. Cause like I told them like their first or second week there, cause she's like, she came up to one of them like, just was like, why did you do this wrong? You should do this right. Like she was kind of like that, and I'm like, supervisor, you know, the one that we've been talking about. She immediately went back to her office after like doing that, and then like I went to the girl after, like I like squatted down next to her at her desk. I was like, hey, like I know that was different, and she's like, yeah, what the heck, that's so weird, she's usually so nice, and then she does that, and I'm like, yeah, so she's always gonna be like that, she's always gonna be like hot and cold, and like that's never gonna change. If that affects you emotionally, you're still new here, you haven't like settled down, like you still have a chance to find something else. If that bothers you, if it doesn't bother you, that's wonderful. If like at any point that you're here it starts to bother you, if you can get out and find something like for your own mental health, do that. And like I told it to the other girl when it happened to her, but like it just, I just want to protect them. But also like anytime like a new product comes in or like something comes up, they'll come out and ask me, and like for me it's just so fulfilling because I'm such a stickler for doing things in like a certain process, or like doing things, you know, correctly the first time, double checking every little detail. It makes me so happy when I'm able to like share my knowledge and abilities with other people. That's why like when anyone's ever asked me like what would be your dream job, I'd be like someone's personal assistant or executive assistant. Like it doesn't have to be a personal assistant, it could be like a business assistant, you know, like I would be like every single detail of their life. I got that on lock. And like my superpower, one of my many superpowers is knowing where things are if I saw where someone left it. Like I don't lose my keys unless somebody touches it. I know exactly where it is, but mostly it applies to other people's stuff. Like the other day, like I saw someone put something in a drawer, and then like three days later I was like, oh, you're gonna need that thing, and they're like, oh, where did I put it? I was like, oh, it's in the drawer right there. They open it and they're like, oh my gosh. That is me. And like that is my abilities. And like also I was told by the sales director on that 30-minute useless phone call with him back in October or November or December, whatever. And he was telling me, like my biggest asset to the company is my customer service skills. Cause I was like, our jobs are just glorified data entry people, like, and he's like, no, your customer service skills is like above and beyond, like it is so like we so need more of this at the company. He's saying how like people keep coming back to you, they're always giving you praise, and like that is what we need more of at this company. And like I'm bringing this up because literally this morning I like we have the ability to save everyone's phone numbers in caller ID, and we can like edit what we want it to say in our computer when it pops up on our phone, on our screens. And I always put like the first and last name of the person, if it's their cell phone, or like the store name, and then like the area, not the area code, but like the territory, so that if they call, I'll know like whose order it's for. And I'm gonna say his name is Steve. He called, and because he's been calling more often recently, and I'm just like, hey Steve, it's me, Catherine, good morning. And he's like, hey Catherine, how you doing? And like a lot of them are older fellas, so they'll say like honey or baby or doll, or like it's not ick. Some of them, like when they say it a certain way, it's ick, but this one, it was just like, it was sweet. And then like I was helping him out, and like before we hung up, all he needed was a tuxedo and some pants. And I helped him out, and like I like explained everything to him, and he asked me about the weather, and he was like, you know, Catherine, like, you are so sweet. Like, I can tell, like, he's like, you're such a California girl. I was like, I don't know what that means. And he's like, your voice, like, you sound cute. I was like, no, stop. He's like, I can tell you're blushing. But, like, that was such a wonderful way to start the day. And to be honest, like, it's not fake or anything. Like, I have a resting bitch face, like, always. But whenever I'm on the phone, I just, like, start with a smile, you know? Like, the way I'm talking right now, like, you can tell I'm smiling when I'm talking, like, just in the tilt of my voice. And I start every conversation like that. Unless it's someone who's, like, been problematic in the past, I just, like, put on a smile. And you're just like, hey, this is the company. Thanks for calling. How can I help you today? And I'm like, if they're nice, you just treat them with kindness. And I think that's why people keep coming back. I've had people, and like, because of my skills, I try to form that personal connection with people. Just like when people tell me about like their sickness or like anything, like the next time I speak to them, I'm like, how's that going? How's your son? How's your whatever? And like, it reminds me of Michael Scott from The Office, and he has that Rolodex where everything's like color coded red, yellow, and green. And like green's like, go ahead and not talk about your gay son. It's just like my brain is Michael's Rolodex. And honestly, recently, because of what I've been going through on a personal level, like being able to do that and just reach anybody, no matter like this such a small level, and like the 2 new employees at the office, like I felt much better on the day-to-day. Oh, and freaking last week, I ratted out on my supervisor because, did I mention this in the last video? I don't even know when my last video was. I found out she's been, okay, my ex-coworker told me that she has every right to do this, but I'm like, it doesn't seem right. So for all the newer employees, what my supervisor is doing is she's entering a brand new order, so it has her name on it in code, and then she'll leave it blank and press save, and then give that order number to one of the new employees along with the order sheet, and be like, hey, finish filling out this order for me. And then they'll do the processing, they'll like do the mailing, everything, and like communicating with the customers and sending it out. Like from beginning to end, everything is someone else. But at the end of the day, that order has my supervisor's name on it, which means every single month when they're calculating commission, it goes into her pocket. And she's doing this for the employee, like one of the employees who's been here 3 months, who she's technically agency, so she doesn't get any commission, but like a lot of her orders are also under someone else's code, which to me is quite problematic. Also last week, the dumb coworker who I really don't like, she sits in front of me, fell asleep as soon as the supervisor left the office. And I like immediately ratted on her. I was like, supervisor, what's her face fell asleep? Like I woke up angry. I mean, I woke up angry every day for this entire year, but like I woke up angry that day, and she was just like, okay. And then the next day, supervisor comes in, she pulls that girl into her office and like kind of lectures her, yells at her a little bit, and then like they end with laughing. She does this thing where she's like, lecture, soothe, and it's not healthy. That's not cool. It's really toxic. Thankfully, I've never been on the yelling end of that because I try not to mess up, and like she can tell like I do very hard and I do. So what I ended up doing was when our state manager, when he showed up, I was like, hey, I got some stuff I gotta tell you, and I showed him some stuff that was like wrong in our system, and I was like, okay, I got some other stuff I gotta tell you, and I was like, first tell him, I don't even know which order it is. I told him about the commission thing. I was like, everything's in her name when other people are doing the work. I feel like that's a problem. I feel like that's not her money to take. And he's like, okay, I'll look into it. And I was like, oh, talk to the other guy first. Don't talk to her first. And then I also said like, oh, my ex-coworker was the one who brought this to my attention. I just investigated yesterday. I just found out. So I'm like, I don't want to be blamed for this. Because I was like, I can't get in trouble for this, right? Like, I don't want to be in trouble. She's going to like, because I say this next part, which is like, I don't want her to retaliate and treat me poorly. I tell him that, oh, my coworker, she like fell asleep. And I was like, have you ever heard anything about her falling asleep? And he's like, no, what are you talking about? I was like, well, she falls asleep in the office in the afternoons, once every few months. And usually the supervisor will come over and just be like, hey, have some coffee, splash some water on your face, pat pat, like you'll be fine. Meanwhile, on the other hand, in my previous videos that I told you guys about in October, I get an email sent to every single manager. Catherine's doing this, Catherine's doing that. And like, majority of the time, those were wrong reports. I have receipts to prove them wrong. Like, I'm in the right. And I'm like, it just doesn't seem fair. Like, I'm being targeted and that other girl's being coddled. And it just doesn't seem fair. And he's like, that's totally, like, I totally agree. It doesn't seem treatment. It should be fair for everybody. And definitely, like, we don't need to be emailing everyone every time something happens. Like, let's talk about it. And I was like, agreed. So the fact that she's coddling this chick and always telling her, like, oh, I know you mess up a lot. Here are things to improve. I want you to get better because I don't want them to fire you. I'm like, that's just not cool. Like, she's not doing well at her job. She's been here for way too long for someone who messes up as much as she does. And so he went and had a talk with her, and then my attendance, my tardiness got brought up somehow. I don't know. It's like we're talking about A and you bring up B. Like, what the heck is that? And since that day, I think it was like Thursday or Friday last week, supervisor has been extremely nice to me, and I'm texting my ex-coworker and I'm like, I'm freaking out, and I'm sending her screenshots and stuff, and I'm like, this is scary, because like I'll send a message to the supervisor like, hey, this person called for you, oh hey, this person has like a request about the company, here, this person like place an order, and she'll reply like, oh, Catherine, keep up the good work, you're so good at selling, keep doing this, keep it up. And I'm like, what is happening? And like my coworker, she's like, she's being really nice, it's really weird because that means she knows how to be nice. I was like, but I feel like there's something coming, like there's malicious intent behind the niceness. And then she's like, yeah, don't get comfortable with that. And I'm like, I agree. It's freaking me out. Just like every single day, she's like, oh, you're doing so great, you're such a good seller. And I'm like, when's the other shoe going to drop? Anyway, that's my update. Have a good day, everyone. Stay safe out there. Oh, there are currently 5 states in the under UPS that are under weather advisement for like non-delivery. 4 of them belong to me. So stay safe out there, stay warm out there. Bye.